It's showtime! Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Gaz Williams, and this is the Gaz Williams Show. Doing a special Thursday night. Now, I don't normally do a live stream on a Thursday, but I am doing it because I have got in my possession a new module from the Czech module maker. Well, not just module makers, musical instrument makers, Bastl. And it's a new model. It's called... Let's have a look. The Neo Trinity. We'll get closer. Here it is. 8 HP. And it's a 6-channel modulation source. But it does so much. It's absolutely packed full of groovy features. So, for those of you who hate modular, well, okay. I don't know what to say. Stick around. Maybe you'll see something that'll change your mind. But I'm sure many of you know, I've been embracing modular over the last, well, it's nearly 4 years now. So I should know one or two things, which I think I'm starting to. But anyway, just a disclaimer. Bastl did actually send this module to me. They sent it to me a few weeks ago, and I've been really enjoying it. Initially, I wasn't sure. I got to be honest. Initially, I was thinking, it's like a 6-channel of something like a Pamela's Pro Workout from ALM Busy Circuits. And I was kind of not necessarily seeing it as having, it being a better choice than that. They both occupy the same amount of rack space, but the PAM's Pro Workout has an extra 2 outputs. However, I was actually quite wrong. This is very much its own thing, and it has got so many features in it that differentiate it from the PAMs. I've got a couple of Pamela's new work. Well, I've got a Pamela's new workout and a Pamela's Pro Workout in this rack. Here's the Pro, and tucked over here, you can't quite see it. It's the Pamela's new. The Pamela's Pro Workout is a a clocked modulator, and so the Trinity can do quite a number of things the same, but then their paths diverge somewhat. And you're going to check in with the live room. Andy Brooks, hello. Hey, Lee Kemp. Oh, nice. Tracker Jack, nice. Animotion Music, hello. Thank you for joining me on this unusual Thursday night. Right, so yeah, this Bastl Trinity then, it's been announced today, so I've had to keep my lip buttoned until now. And I did have it in a smaller little rig that I use for testing modules, and initially I was going to put it in that for tonight, but it's graduated. It's graduated. It's made it into my main live rig, and I think that actually speaks volumes about its functionality. So, here's my live. Well, this is the middle deck of my live rig. This is where the main action takes place, and bringing this module in has necessitated quite a few changes. There's another new arrival here, which is the Bella Gliss, but we won't use that much today. We'll focus completely on this Bastl. Okay, so what is it, and how is it integrated into this rig? Well, okay, as I mentioned then, you've got 6 outputs which are in like a kind of L shape around the outer edge here, and they're labelled A through to F. Now, so you can see I'm on B, C, D, E and F, and the main action revolves around this rate knob here, but we've also got a record, yes, record, more about that in a moment, and a shift button, and then there's a bunch of other small little buttons. Now, I have to say, this module has taken me quite a lot of effort and going back and forward to the manual, which I'm probably going to have to do tonight as well, because it's just it just does so many things. Okay, so each of the 6 outputs, there's a mode control here. So if we were on channel A, the mode control can toggle it between an LFO, an envelope, or a control voltage. And then this works like an offset for a control voltage. And for all 6, so we can set all 6 to be any of those. So A is set to CV, B is set to an envelope here. I can set here, we'll set one to an LFO, etc. And so just a quick little tour around here. Then we've got a clock button. So this can take, and that is receiving an incoming clock. We can see it there flashing. If I change the tempo, I'm using my Pamela's Pro workout as the master clock here, but this Bastl could operate as the master clock as well. I like the PAMs for this purpose though, because it's got a display. So I'm cranking up the tempo there, and we can see it's going up. Slow it down, and we'll see it slowing up there. Yep, so I'm going to plonk this on 100 BPM for now. And yeah, so you can press any of these buttons, if like, especially pertinent when you're in the LFO mode. You hold the button down and hit clock, and that will, will turn on or off whether that channel is responding to the master clock. There is a clock out, which is now the only output that I've not got patched. I'm sure I'll find a use for that at some point. But yeah, I've got a clock coming in, and I've also got a reset coming in as well. When I press stop on the PAMs, I get a reset sense. So when I press start, everything starts all from the same starting point. What else is going on here buttons wise? So we've got a mute button here. If I hold the mute down, and you can see like all the channels light up, or rather all of them that are not muted, and then we can turn off the channels or turn them on really fast. And herein is one of the things where it starts to depart a little bit from the Pamela's Pro workout, in that a lot of the actions you can perform lightning fast on this, whereas with the PAMs it would necessitate going into the menu, paging through to the various things. Yeah. So Bastl described this as a performance-orientated module, and initially I was a bit confused about that, but the more I've used it, the more I completely understand what they mean. So just, as I say, in an instant I can just take things out. In an instant I can clock or unclock things, stuff like that. It's super fast. Okay, so that's our mute control, our clock control. If we hit clock, it takes us into a clock menu here, and what's quite nice here is this is where we would control the clock speed if we were using it as an internal clock, but because we've got an external clock, then this works as a clock divider. And as I change, I hold shift down to change the clock speed, and you can see the green lights are moving around, and they designate whether the clock is being divided or multiplied. And if it's here, which is the D button lit up, then that means the clock is the same as what's the incoming clock. And I can see that flashing, that light there, and I can see that that's running at the same speed. Aha! Hey Patrick! So Patrick in the comments there, nice to see you, mate. Right, I'll take some questions later. I mean, Patrick might be able to answer some questions as well. It's difficult for me to focus on this and the question and the chat room. I'm afraid I'm pretty rubbish at that, as viewers of this show are well aware. But I will at times come and check in and see what's being said. But yeah, I do think this is cause for celebration, though. This is a really exciting module, and as I progress, I hope some of that will become apparent. Okay, so just finishing off our little tour then, we've got a bank button here, and the bank button lets us save 6 complete setups. And I think, maybe Patrick can verify this, I think when you save, it will actually save any of the automations. Why? Yes, there is automation, and that's what this record knob is all about. So I think when you save it, it does save those record automations that you make. But yeah, I'll need to clarify that. But so we've got a record button, and then the shift button. The shift button has got like a silver outline, and then we can see, you know, as is often the case with various things that have dual functions, anything with the silver text pertains to the shift key. Okay, so as I said, you know, this is a small module. It's 8 HP, and it's just, you know, it's completely packed full. Okay, so yes, we've got our bank control. I think that concludes our little buttons. Okay, in terms of sockets, now obviously this is all very tightly patched here. Then I mentioned that we've got the 6 outputs. And I've also, like I said earlier, we've got the clock and the reset coming in. Now, there are also another 3 sockets on here, which are inputs, okay? So channels E and F have a dedicated input. And then there's an input that's labeled meta. And basically, meta can be routed to any or all of the channels. So, for instance, you know, you could be sending something in, and then the different channels can interpret that in various ways. And, you know, again, that will make a bit more sense the more we explore this. Yes, just checking in. Yeah, so Patrick's just confirmed it does save everything. So when we make little recordings, if I was then to save, it will store that. Now, so making recordings then, this is really cool. We've got a record button here. If I'm in a channel, I hold the record button down, and again, the little green light on the A to F will light up, and that will give me an indicator of how many beats. So there's 8, it's currently set to 8. I could have it record for 4, record for 2, and of course these will act like kind of like loops then. So if we were recording on the LFO channel, and I'll do some examples very, very shortly, but if we record on the LFO channel, for instance, we could automate the rate. Now, I think that might be one of the best places to start then. But just before I do that, I'll just finish off some of the controlling. So when I'm doing stuff, you've got some idea of what I'm trying to do. So basically, the record button then, you've got to hold it down as you are then manipulating something. So if I was here, I'd hold it down. I'm doing this as a 2-handed operation here, but I can't, you know, look, I can do it as one, you know, and you do this kind of thing, you know. So you've got to have the record down. Then when there's recorded information there, I can just double tap it to clear it. But we've actually got kind of essentially 2 types of automation that we can record. We can record sort of movements to this knob. So whatever this knob is controlling on a per channel basis, that will affect it. But also the shift. If I hit, well, I can record resets or gates as well. So the way I do that is I hold record and I hit shift, and then I record gates in that way. So we can see when there's automation, this is lit up red. But to get rid of gates, double tap in, it's a separate kind of like lane of automation in a way. To get rid of that, double tap shift. Okay. So, and what's kind of cool as well is you can hold shift and tap record to trigger things without recording. Anyway, phew. I think that kind of concludes the little tour. I think we should start trying to get some examples, musical examples going on. So let's have a listen to what we've got here. Let's bring this in. Okay, so sound is coming from over here. This is another Bastl module. It's called the Pizza, and it's an oscillator, but you can kind of use it as I'm using it here as a kind of complete voice with an envelope as well. And it's a really cool module. So, okay, that's going on there. Let's come back to this. Oh, the notes that are triggering this or rather not the notes, the gates, they're also coming from another Bastl module, which is called the compass, which is a 3-channel. It's up here. You can't really see it, but it's a 3-channel gate sequencer generator. Okay, but anyway, so like I've turned it all the way up. I'll just get a stream of gates, but if I turn it back, it'll generate a pattern, a 32-step pattern. Now I could be creating gates from the Neo Trinity as well, but I'm going to use them from here for the time being. Now, if I go to my channel A on here, I've got this going into, as I mentioned, it's there's an envelope in the pizza, and so channel A is set to control voltage. So at 12 o'clock, we get this. I love these envelopes. I'm starting to see them on more things, really, where you turn it anti-clockwise and you get an attack and decay. You know, it's like a 1-knob envelope. So 12 o'clock is like kind of essentially almost, you know, it's just that little spike. Turn it clockwise and you get attack with decay, but no attack, you know, no attack, sort of just. So here's one application I could use then. Let's try setting the record time a bit longer. Okay, 4-step record. Let's just do that. And I can just sort of let's get a few more gates going. And then, as I say, double tap gets rid of it. So now I'll try dropping gates in, which in this case will just make the envelope open fully. So those little gates there, now let's... So that's combining both kind of record methods there. Taking it to just the gates all off. Okay. So that's one application. Now, there are a bunch of ways that you can kind of tailor this. Oh, yeah, and what we'll do later on is we'll talk about the inputs, but for now we're just going to concentrate on the outputs. Okay, so if I get that little pattern going again, and now I'm going to go to channel 4. So I've got this going into a filter. A cutoff. It's set to CV at the moment. I'm going to switch it now to LFO. So we can see that it's going from green to red. So this LFO is running in bipolar mode. But you can change any of the channels. So I hold the channel button down, I hit mute, and now it's unipolar. But we're going to go bipolar for this one. Now, you can hear that this is changing clock divisions. So the LFO is a clocked LFO. But again, I could make that free run. By just toggling that. Now, holding shift and hitting a record will let us preview. In this case, it's resetting the LFO. But if I do record, then I'm basically going to change the rate. Now let's just make it a bit shorter. Start that again. When you've got recorded information, this becomes like an offset, or is that? Yeah. So it's offsetting the automation. Yeah, okay. And then again, double tap to clear the automation. So what we're talking about then in the LFO, again, these A to F buttons come in useful. Again, they help us choose what waveform they are from ramp down, triangle, ramp up, and then square, pulse, and then here we got random, and then our F button acts as a smooth. So let's get this doing stuff smooth. Let's see if I can make this a bit more pronounced. And we can hear that smoothing, turn the smoothing off. But the thing is, that smoothing, when that smoothing is turned on, you can smooth all of the waveforms. So smooth, ramp down, normal ramp down. Actually, yeah, and then so if I go to my square wave, you can make a smooth one, which I think it just rolls the edges a little bit, which stops it from clicking. That's actually a really nice little feature. So yeah, the recording length then runs from 2 beats through to 64 beats, so you can get quite long automations recorded into here. And that record length is independent for each of the 6 channels. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, there's bags of stuff in here, including pitch quantizers as well. So if we use it in the CV mode, we can feed the voltage through pitch quantizer. So essentially, with the meta input and then E and F, that would mean it could be a 3-channel pitch quantize. But with the meta input, you could have that affecting all the channels. So you could, you could put one signal coming in to the meta input, and then have that routed to all 6 outputs through pitch quantizers. So lots and lots of musical possibilities there. So let's have a little play with some of that stuff then. Let's get this going again, but we'll slow it down. Okay. So this doing some. Let's get that doing some longer things a minute. Okay. So I'm going to use. Let's go to. I go channel 4 here. Sorry, channel 4. What am I talking about? Channel F, I meant to say. And I've got it set to CV. Now, let's just route that through to pizza. Let's crank that up. I'm using civilization from Yuhi here to kind of aggregate things, but let me make life a bit easier to understand. I'll mute. Right, okay. I'm just muting one channel, so I've got. So we can see with this CV offset, we can affect the pitch. And of course, then that means we could actually record pitch sequences. Hang on, I got to disable. Whoops! I'm using civilization here as a pitch quantizer, so I'll just turn that off for now. So this should be. Yeah, cool. So when you're in the CV mode, holding down Shift allows you to enable the pitch quantize. I realised I need to turn pitch quant. I didn't turn pitch quantize off. Hang on, let me do that. Here we go. Okay. Right, no pitch quantize now. So I'll use pitch quantize from this, the Bastl. Shift and D. Then a few cryptic things. You kind of get the hang of it, but you can choose what quantized scale you are by then holding Shift and then choosing A, B, and C. And yeah, basically, if A is, let's take those off. Right, if A is lit and the others aren't, then the notes will just be just a major chord. Let's get some faster. Let's get a few more notes going on. Speed that up a little bit. Now, if A is lit, it's like major. If A isn't lit, it's minor. And then you can then choose the combination of B. I I can't remember what they all are now. You get different scales by whether B and C are lit. I think, as a general rule, the more lights are lit, the more notes it plays. So I can make it chromatic, etc. But let's okay, so I can record a little. And you can hear it slew in there. That's because I turned. If I turn that off, it'll step or enable. So it's the same as like the smoothing control of the LFO. E, in the case of CV, adjusts the range. So let's just get at the moment we get all that range, and this extends the range. Let's speed things up. Etc. So let's make it do something a bit more musical now. So here I've got a 2 HP arpeggiator, and I've got an output from the Trinity going into the root of the arpeggiator. So if I have the arpeggiator, then start feeding our now this is where it's good having a pitch quantizer after the effect as well. So I'm going to re-enable the pitch quantizer on Civilization. So this is like a downstream of the Trinity. Okay, and let's just enable. Okay, it's just. I'm going to just get the. Okay, so I'm going to get the. I'm going to mess with the arpeggiator. So at the moment, this is just sending a static CV value to the root. But let's switch that to an LFO. So we can get some. Let's see if this is better to do it bipolar or... So going bipolar. This is unipolar. Let's get some more stuff going on here. I had that doing nicer things earlier. Some smoothing random LFO. So yeah, so I can record some of this nonsense. So now let's turn back on the other the other output. Yeah. I was just going to stop a moment. Yeah, as is the case, I was doing some really nice musical things with that earlier today, and I was just sounding a bit crazy. Going to check in with the chat room. So for those of you joining live, yeah, thank you, Patrick, for answering questions. Hello, everyone who's joined the show since I've started streaming. What's the time now? I'm probably only going to stream for another 20 minutes, so I will. I'll start talking about then the inputs now. I think you can kind of see though, with having lots of things, 6 outputs that are all configurable and then very quick to adjust them, and being able to automate things as well. This is where it starts to have quite a lot of potential. Now, if you were running a very small case, you could, this could absolutely be your centerpiece, providing all the gates, all of the, so essentially all the sequencer and capabilities and modulation. I think where it is probably happiest though is in a sort of medium-sized rig like this, which has got plenty of inputs and outputs going on. So the inputs then I've got coming into it at the moment then are coming from the Gliss. I've got 2 channels, the E channel and the F channel are coming from the Gliss. So if I get something going on, let's just get rid of that arpeggiator. So look, I'm going to mute that arpeggiator modulation. Okay. So I think what's going on here? This Gliss, which I haven't covered in the show yet, is still new to me, is a bit perplexing. It uses a menu which you really need to be cross-referencing it with the manual. Now I'm changing all the settings on it stupidly without without knowing what I'm doing. let's get this working. Okay. I think I've got it wired up this way. This one's coming in here. Okay, yeah, okay. So the bell air automatically records what you do as you touch it. And then being able to offset that then with a, you know, and then recording that as well. Let's make it record a bit longer. So the way this is then taking the voltage that's coming out of here, coming into the air, we can change, let's just stop there. Phew. We can choose what the incoming voltage is, and the way we do that is we sort of hold shift and we tap the mode button. Now, it can function as so the default it's going to come in and it's essentially going to change what the rate control is doing, but we can choose that to be like an attenuated version, an inverted version, an inverted and attenuated version, or it could be a trigger, or it could be it could act like a VCA, and then where the you know, it's outputting like a strength, therefore acting like a VCA. Sorry, that's not really well described. Let's try and do some examples here. Yeah, so if acting like a VCA, then this acts a bit like an attenuator. So some of the things are a little bit cryptic. Oh, and also you can do sample and hold as well. Okay, just thinking there's still a load of things I haven't covered on this yet. I'm going to repatch something. I think that might be easier to demonstrate something. Let's just grab a cable. Right, let's just okay, stop that one for a moment. Now, this can then, it can, like I mentioned, it can do gates. I'll just nick channel 1. Let's just, and I'm going to patch channel 1 out, and I'm going to patch it into a snare drum. Okay. Let's just. Let's try taking this out as well here. Okay. Oh yeah, right, sorry. Right, this, okay, so here's the LFO triggering the snare. Right, now I'm going to go into the envelope mode here, and what I could do is I could send gates to it. Now, because it's quantized, I can't trigger it everywhere I want it to right now. So let's just turn off the quantize. Oh, it was turned off. Or maybe, sorry, I'll do this from the CV mode. So I can record, and I can record gates in doing that. And I can then quantize that. See. Or can I? I don't know. That doesn't seem to quantize it. Maybe. Let's get rid of them. Let's just put that sync back on, and let's just try that again. Probably need to be playing along to something to have some idea of how to play it in time. But anyway, you can record in gates, like I'm sort of attempting to show you. But what you can also do, which is really cool, is you can generate patterns. So if you hold down both record and shift button, and then select A for kick patterns, B for snares, C for hi-hats, D for Euclidean, E, I think, is that random? I might need to reference some of these. But so let's say it's a snare drum. Then you choose why am I not getting this? Maybe it needs to be. Oh, I hate it when this happens. This is a bit. I've not really done much of that with this. That's why I'm coming a bit unstuck here. Shift. Oh no, sorry. Yeah. Set to clock. I'm doing something wrong. This goes so well. Okay, I'm not going to make a fool of myself any longer than I have to. Okay. I wanted to get a little video out today because it's just been released today, and I thought it was really good to have a little look at it. It's something that I'm going to be learning more about. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much for joining me. And I think I'm probably going to sign off here, folks, because I'm running out of steam a little bit. I only wanted to stream for an hour or so. What I might just do, though, is I might just try and get a bit of music on the go to kind of play out with something. If I can make it all work. That's the thing, changing a rig like mine, changing the patching around and stuff is quite a big deal for me now. Just getting things. Okay. Thank you, everybody, and thanks to Bastl once again for sending this rather spiffy module over. I think it's really well worth checking out. Don't know if I demonstrated it very well, but hey, what the heck. I'm Gaz Williams. Please consider subscribing and all that business, and take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.